Jason, I don't know if you saw this article in the Real Deal. So somebody I follow on Instagram. If you're not,
I
you
do. I
probably should
follow them
follow.
too. Yep. Yep.
So there was just a post the other day talking about the apartment rock star
I
is
saw
losing
that
a
in
building
Houston.
in
Yep. In Houston.
Houston. He's
Yeah.
losing a
12-month
building.
foreclosure. It's pretty crazy, dude. Yeah.
Yes. You borrow 51 million bucks. Dude, they probably had 30 million bucks in equity, meaning LP money,
Yeah.
lit on fire.
Crazy.
And more to come. So I guess what I want to talk about here is there's a lot of people with self-proclaimed names like the apartment rock star, or maybe better said gurus, whether you're syndicators or arbitrage or whatever it is. I think there's a lot of people going to be the bright lights are going to be very bright over the next couple of years. What are you thinking?
Tide is going out, and there's going to be a lot of people swimming naked here soon, my friend. Yeah, we're going to see it. We're seeing it right now. I mean, live. That's the one thing about social media is you are seeing it like almost as it happens in real time, dude. It's pretty insane to see some of the people that at a surface level you think, wow, this is just crazy. And the market has been carrying their business and their operations for the last however many years. And, it's time to see, what's really going on now. It's going to be nuts.
Yeah, this is something that I will admit on the surface, I don't know if jealous is the right word, maybe envious, right? So if you go back and watch my YouTube channel in 2019, I sold 2 apartment buildings because in Fresno, again, I've been there 20 some odd years, getting an apartment building like C class, C plus class below a 7 cap is crazy, right?
Yeah.
That's unheard of, right? They usually trade at 8, 9, and sometimes 10. So I sold 2 at 7.5 caps. 2020, 21, it went down to a 5 cap. I lost like 700 grand by selling early.
Yeah.
But you know what? They're going to quickly ratchet up to 10 or 11 cap because you don't revert to the mean. It goes the other direction. And the important point of this is we're going to find out who are good operators versus financial engineers or social media magnets, because one of those is going to do awesome in the next 2 years. The other 2 are going to get wrecked, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I would be lying if I hadn't had some of the same thoughts that you're talking about right now. And I think when you said what you said, what resonated with me was more, man, I wish I would have done something bigger. I see all these people doing these large syndications, these large apartment deals, right? I've done very well at raising money. I've had a lot of people ask for me to come in and just say, hey, why don't you help us raise money on some of these things? We'll give you a piece of the equity on this large deal. You start seeing these shiny objects. And I just decided to stay in my lane. For whatever reason, I felt like, you know what? Now's not the right time for me to do this. I've always been very, very cautious of like exposing the people that I borrow money from to deals that I was not ready to take on myself. And now I'm feeling very happy that we did, because I think there's going to be some big opportunities for us in that space. And at that time, you start second guessing yourself. And it's like, am I going too slow? Am I playing too safe? And now I'm glad that we did it, man. I'm glad that we chose to, just stay in our lane.
Yeah, and again, you and I bounce around and bump into a lot of folks either physically or online. And we get offered lots. I've been asked dozens of times, hey, help me raise for this or that. I'm like, A, I don't really know you. And B, you look like, you're just in it. What really bothers me is I was sniffing out financial engineers that couldn't operate a building to save their lives.
Yep.
And I did not know how long it would last. It lasted a year longer than I thought it would.
Yeah.
But that is going to end up, real estate investing is not easy. It's not leverage. It's not speed. It's not in and out. It's just operations. Good operators win. And I think for 2 years, with cap rates down and, free capital, risk-free capital was 0. I was starting to question myself, but now I feel much better.
I think the question then becomes, how do you sniff out some of these people, and what are some of the things maybe that people are looking for if you're looking for a coach or a mentor just to follow somebody's journey, right? Like how does a new investor like put up a BS detector and find out and look through some of the BS that some of the people that are putting up there?
Let's play this game of ping pong. I'm going first this time.
Okay.
So the first question I ask is how many units do you own?
Hmm.
And if you tell me 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, and you actually own 1% of that, I'm out.
Big red flag. Yeah.
Big red flag.
Yep.
No, right? If I ask Jason how many units you own, it's
Just
105.
over 100. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. I own 171 or 169. I'm selling a duplex so I can get my backyard done in Vegas.
There
So,
you go.
yeah, that's it. That's us, right? You can, it's out there. So that's the first thing I look for, is because a lot of people in this business want to puff their chest.
Yeah.
I own 3,563. You don't own that. You're a part of,
Yeah.
you're 1% of the deal. And oh, by the way, this is what really bothers me. This is actually, I'll let you go first before I just ramble. What's your first?
I think here's what I would suggest. I think the real true operators in this space, they have a reputation that they're operators, right? And if you do a little bit of homework and you start asking around, right, you're going to find out very quickly, right? Especially, and I'll use our market, Fresno, as an example, because this is my hometown. Fresno's like a big little city, and there's people that you can look at that just outside looking in, it's like, wow, this person's crushing it. And then you can just ask a couple people here and there, and they just have terrible reputations in the business from other operators, right? And I think for me, one of the things that I pride myself on is having a rock solid reputation. Nobody can question like my work ethic. Nobody can question the ethics and the way that I run my business. I never cut a corner. I've never screwed anybody over. And I think that reputation will always precede the person, right? So do a little bit of homework. And once you scratch below the surface of Instagram and social media and that type of stuff, right, the real deal will usually come to the surface.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was probably 3 or 4 months ago, there was a well-to-do real estate investor in Fresno that got caught in a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
Right. So, it does happen. The big one for me after a number of units to see if they puff up their chest is how much of your capital have you put at risk? There are so many people that are using their name or their friends' names or their friends' money to get into deals and get their percentage. Like, how much money have you put at risk?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know, right? How much risk capital is yours? That's another one for me.
And it's honestly really scary when you think about it. It's so easy to raise money. I think people have a huge misconception about the ability to raise people's money to do a real estate deal. A lot of people think that it's hard. I felt like that at the beginning too. And then once I started doing it, it was insane. And I have raised millions of dollars from people that I have never met in real life. It's pretty astonishing, right? Like we've had DM exchanges, maybe a couple email exchanges when we're doing all the paperwork through title. But I think it's very, very easy to talk a good game. It's another thing to actually have the capital and put your money at risk. And that's another thing that I know both you and I did at the beginning. It was all my money at the beginning.
All my money.
Right?
Yeah.
For the first couple of years, because I just did not feel comfortable using anybody else's money because I wasn't confident in my ability at the beginning, right? So I paid for my education, put everything, our life savings, mortgaged our house, all the credit cards. I've told this story a number of times on your channel. And it was that pushing all those chips in the middle, doing a deal, bringing it back with the profit, and then doing it again and scaling it and scaling it. And then eventually, back to my first point, my track record and my reputation started to precede itself. People would start seeing, well, Jason's a real operator out here. He's doing things. And then I got good at raising other people's money.
Then the last thing that I always like to ask, especially if they've been in the market more than 5 or 6 years, is tell me about a loss or a mistake. Right? Because everybody's lost money. You and I started this year talking about some losses that you had to take. And again, the key there is Jason took the loss. None of your LPs took the loss, or
that's right.
None of your lenders, I guess they weren't really LPs. If you've been in this game for any length of time, you've had mistakes, you've had losses, you've had lessons.
Yep.
And I have no problem talking about all kinds of the mistakes.
Me neither.
That's actually
we remember our losses way more than we remember the wins. Dude, people start talking about loss. I can tell you the address. I can tell you exactly how much money we lost. I can tell you exactly what went wrong in every single one of those
scars
deals.
Right here.
I know all of it, dude. And so that's another big red flag to me. If this person or the guru has supposedly been in the business forever, and they've never taken a loss, or they say they've never lost money on a deal, that's a humongous red flag, because the losses are the ones that stand out the most, I think, to guys like us. And I don't shy away from them. I don't shy away about talking about them either.
Oh,
And I get such a positive engagement and feedback when we do put content out about some of the losses, right? And I don't share a ton about, I don't take a lot of L's, but the ones that I do, we talk about it. And people like that, because people
yeah.
want to know that it isn't just, you're in and out of a deal 3 months, you make $100,000 while you're sitting on a beach in Mexico. It doesn't work like that, guys. There's a lot of ups and downs and roller coaster ride that that's this business. So yeah, I think taking losses is part of it. And you've been in the business long enough, you're going to take an L at some point.
Yeah. You put out a lot of great stuff on Instagram. You're sharing what's going on with in your business, also helping to educate people with a treasure trove of information. Where can people find you and find it?
Yeah. JasonPritchard.com. If you guys want all the documents, the resources, and the tools that my team use every day in our business, it's all up there available for free for you to download. And then if you want to follow along with our journey, go to Instagram or Facebook, just put in Jason Pritchard. And I get tons of messages from the ORAT community. Love to help and be a resource to you guys.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.